Hello, business builders, and welcome to Business for Breakfast, where business is the most important meal of the week. I'm your host, Aaron Novinger, and today we're talking about something that every venti business owner struggles with: hiring. Oh my gosh, it is the vein of our existence. Now, I know what you're thinking. You saw the thumbnail. You thought this was clickbait, effortlessly hiring or effortless hiring. Yeah, stick with me. I will teach you the greatest hiring hack that you have ever seen in business. And for context, by the way, I am the laziest person I know, okay? And somehow I've managed to create an HR hiring system that takes minutes a week to sort through hundreds of applicants on your HR channel. Let's be honest. Hiring is a mess. What is your normal process, right? You run your ad, you get flooded, and you run your ad on Indeed. What happens? You run the ad, you get flooded with applicants, basically meaning the day you run that ad means you can't do anything else in your business other than hire this person. If you're hiring multiple people for multiple positions, that means that as the business owner, you are a full-time HR director. Does that sound familiar? You run the ad, you get flooded with applicants, right? And then what do you do then? You start calling the individuals to set up an interview with them. You set up those interviews, you got them all set up. You know that you've got 2 days of interviews to hire this customer service person that you're hiring. So what do? You go ahead and schedule them on the hour, back to back, right? 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Give yourself some lunch. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, right? You start calling the individuals to schedule them. What happens? Half of them don't answer, half don't call you back. And then when you actually talk to them and you get them scheduled for an interview, half of them don't show for the interview. Tell me if this hasn't happened to you. You schedule an 8, 9, 10, and 11. And your 9 o'clock and your 11 o'clock are the only ones that show. Not your 8 o'clock, right? Not the 10 o'clock, not the 1 o'clock. You see what I'm saying? This happens to all of us. You've wasted tons of hours, days, and you still haven't hired that person. I'm going to teach you the system today that fixes that, okay? Now, let me set the expectation here. There is still a little bit of work that you will have to do as the owner, but my hope is that you learn how to do this more efficiently than you've been doing it. Don't beat yourself up. Who's going to help you do this? You have to do this yourself and figure it out as you go, right? All right. So let's first talk about what the problem is. We understand the problem. It's inefficient. We run the ad. We get flooded with applicants. We start reaching out to the applicants to start scheduling them for interviews. We get them set up for the interview. First of all, half the people don't call you back. And then the other half, when you get them scheduled for the interview, guess what? Half of them don't show. And we all know as business owners that if you're setting those interview times back to back and somebody doesn't show, okay, what does that do for you? So that gives you an hour gap between then and the next call. And you've got a whole project list of stuff that you need to get done. But do you do it? No, you don't. Why? Because you're in HR mode. This is what nobody understands about being a venti business owner is we have to be in the right frame of mind for the particular task that we are tackling, okay? And usually HR is not something we're all super excited about doing, okay? So you have to be in the mindset to do this. So if somebody doesn't show up, and I don't know if you're wired like this, but this is how I am. If they don't show up, I can't just go immediately to my to-do list and knock out a bunch more projects in that 1 hour to be productive. My brain doesn't work that way. I compartmentalize and I group everything. Everything has to be like-minded. I typically do tasks at a certain time that require that particular brain power or set of skills. It's very difficult for me to, the interview didn't show up. I've got 20 things I need to do. Let me knock those out real quick. No, you might be the person that is like that. That's not me, okay? But I think you guys understand that, and here's the other big part of the interview process. Somebody shows up at their interview time slot, and in 10 minutes, this person's not a fit. But they drove all the way out to hang out with you, and guess what? You will waste your time and continue this interview for a full hour knowing you're not hiring the person. So that way they don't feel like they wasted their time. Yes. Do we not do this as business owners? Yes, we do it all the time. It's okay for them to come out for an interview, but it's not okay for us to waste time to continue the interview process. So we continue the interview process so that way we don't waste their time. That's a business owner, man. It's always us. We're always the ones that are left exhausted. We're always the one that hasn't hired the right person. We're always the one that's frustrated. And we get so frustrated, we end up hiring somebody that shouldn't even be on the team. So I'm going to paint a picture for you. One of my friends is a coffee shop owner in our hometown. About a year ago, she basically had one of her team members ended up quitting and did a lot of trash talking and turned a lot of the team against the owner. And so when this individual quit, this individual caused a lot of people to quit as well. So the coffee shop owner does what we all do, runs the ad, and then starts scheduling interviews. And at the time, we officed upstairs of this coffee shop. So I was always in and out of the coffee shop all day long. And we're hanging out, and I see that the owner is sitting on the couch downstairs and she's frustrated. And I said, well, what's going on? She goes, I had another applicant not show up. And she's like, I don't have time for this. I'm already drowning. The thing that I can't be doing right now is wasting time. Does that not sound like you? Does it not sound like me? Does it not sound like all of us, right? The business is, everything's falling down. You feel like you're drowning. You've got a million things to do, and you're sitting there frozen because you're waiting for the next applicant to show up, and you can't do anything other than make a couple phone calls, right? Playing HR manager while you're trying to run your coffee shop. Did you know that the average small business owner spends 23 hours hiring team members? One team member, 23 hours. That's correct. That's like half of a work week to hire one person. We're hiring 3 people. When we hire accountants, I'm typically hiring for 2 or 3 offices at the same time. And the system I'm going to teach you today will allow you to do that as well. I'm going to teach you, not only does it improve the efficiency of the new hires, but it actually improves the quality of your new hires because of how you do it. So the key to hiring efficiently lies in automation. Okay. Now, I am not like a big AI tech guy. I love AI and I love using it, but I try to create systems and processes for things that are repetitive to me. Okay. And that's one of the rules of business. And this is just something else for you to put on your little mental shelf. So that way down the road, you can pull it off and remember what AA Ron told you. But that's the difficult thing about hiring, is that it's so difficult to hire quality team members as a small business owner already. Okay. But if you do it through automation, and when I say automation, I want you thinking systems and processes, not technology. Okay. I want you thinking as a business owner, if I have to do something, the same thing over and over again, I need to write out that process. Okay. Or if you have to do the same process, but it has more than, let's say, 5 steps. you need to write down that process, right? So when I'm talking about automations, I'm talking about creating a duplicatable, replicatable system through what you do rather than like a technology that does it all for you, okay? But once you put this in place, you're going to be putting your hiring process on autopilot, meaning it's going to require a little bit of work, but not a ton of work. It takes a little bit of work to set up the process, but once it's set up, it's like it's a cheat code. I'm not kidding. It's like you almost feel like it's not even fair. But as of today, your business is going to be different. I guarantee it. You put this in place today, your business is different. Okay. Here's the best part. It starts with a text message. Okay. I'm going to walk through this entire process with you. Okay. All right. So here's the process. We run our ad on Indeed. You can use whatever you want, but how you filter your people is the same. Okay. We run the ad. Now, I typically like to run my ads Sunday through Wednesday. Okay. Sunday to Wednesday. I have a 5-minute memory, so I have to set alarms to do this. If I know that I'm going to be hiring an accountant for one of our offices, I have an alarm that goes off Sunday that says, turn on the ad. Okay. I set alarms for everything because I don't trust my brain. All right. So it goes live on Sunday. And then typically, here's the process. Sunday to Wednesday, I'm running the ad. Thursday and Friday is interview 1, setting up for the second interview the following week. Okay. So let me walk you through this. Turn the ad on Sunday, Monday. Tuesday, I start reaching out to the applicants. How do I do it? I log in. I do all of my communicating via text message. Not phone call, not email, only text message. Okay. Now, where do you get the cell phone? Because sometimes when you're looking at your Indeed applicants, you'll see that sometimes the phone number is listed in the digital resume. Most of the time, because there's always a PDF attachment for the resume, most of the time you have to open up the PDF to grab the cell phone number. Okay. So I grab the cell phone number, right? And then I go ahead and I have a template, text template that I have set up where it basically says, hi, Joe, but obviously the name, you insert the person's name. And the reason why I do the text template the way I do is very specific, because if you don't do it this way, the individual might think it's a spam. Okay. So I text the individual and say, hi, Joe, this is Aaron. You recently applied for our work 10 to 2 part-time accountant ad on Indeed. So I will literally put the name of the ad and where they responded in the text. I want you to understand what I did in that very first sentence. Hi, Joe. I didn't say hi. I didn't say you responded. I said, hi, Joe. I want the person knowing I know their name. I want the person thinking this is a real person. I don't want this person thinking AI or some bot. Hi, Joe. You recently responded to, or I'll typically say, hi, Joe, this is Aaron with Interstate Business Management. You recently responded to our Indeed ad, work 10 to 2, part-time accountant needed, whatever it is. Okay. So that's the very intro. It's the first 2 sentences, who they are, where I saw they applied, and the name of the ad. Then I go straight into, I saw your resume, was impressed by it, and I'll send, do you have time on Thursday or Friday for a first interview Zoom call? Just like that. First interview, Zoom call. I tell this person it's going to be multiple interviews, and the first one is via Zoom. And then I'll say in there, this is all one text, by the way, right? So you can see what I'm doing. I'm taking it from cold to, I'm just replying back to what you applied to. Hey, we were impressed with your resume. do you have time on Thursday or Friday for a first call Zoom interview? But typically what I'll do is in that very first text, I'll even say, do you have time Thursday at 9 a.m., Thursday at 12 p.m., or Friday at 4 p.m. for a first interview Zoom call? I will list my 3 times for my first interview in that text. And everything that I'm telling you is strategic, and it took me years to figure out. I wish I should be charging $10,000 for this podcast because I'm giving you my trade secrets of how we save time. And you understand, I'm putting this all in one text because you understand that if you just say, are you available Thursday or Friday for a Zoom call? Guess what happens? They say, sure. Then what do you have to do? Reply back with, okay, what about this time or this time? Just get it all out in one message. Why in the world do we have to create back and forth? You get it? Make it efficient. Remember, I'm the laziest human I know. Okay, so everything I have to do must be at max efficiency. Must be, okay? So I will tell them, are you available? And this is what I usually do. I'll pick 3 times, a 9 o'clock, a 12 o'clock, and a 4 o'clock. Okay, I do this on purpose, okay? Because my very first Zoom interview is a group interview. But I don't tell the individual that. I just tell them, do you have availability Thursday at 9 a.m., Thursday at 4 p.m., or Friday at noon for a first interview Zoom call? They will reply back, sure, Thursday at 9 o'clock. Perfect. Okay. Wonderful. Now, I need to preface this because as I'm telling you this, you're thinking in your mind, this won't work for my business. And I will tell you that I have used this exact process on multiple businesses that I'm a part of, and our clients use this and it works as well. So I'm here to tell you that it's not going to work. It's not going to work. If you think that if it works for Aaron, I trust him. If he says it's going to work for his business and my business, it's going to work for my business. If you think that it will, or you think that it won't work, you're right. You got to remember, I'm telling you something that I currently today use right now. There is nothing that I'm going to tell you that I haven't done myself already first. Okay. I have to go first, right? So it's the same thing with this. I'm already doing. This is exactly how we hire every single person. And it's the exact process that we've used for years and years to do what we do. Okay. So person says, yeah, Thursday at 9 o'clock. Perfect. And then I will reply back, great. Do you, and it's reply back with something like, because the very next thing I'm sending is the Zoom. So what I typically do is I'll reply back and say, great. Do you prefer your interview confirmation? Or I'll say something like, how do you want me to send you the Zoom invite? Text or email? Something like that. And remember, it's copy and paste. You send the exact same thing to everybody. And the person will say text. Perfect. So you set up, these are already set up in Zoom, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. You determine when you want to do it, but that's how I would do it. And you know the reason why I do those times, right? Because everybody you're talking to, a lot of them already have jobs. And so you want to give first thing in the morning, lunchtime, or at 4 o'clock. Let the person pick, but give them 3 different times. And that's why for me, I like Thursday at 9, and Thursday at 4, and then Friday at noon. Because Friday afternoons for me are my flying days, and I don't have time Friday afternoon to do that. And most people don't want to do stuff at 4 o'clock on Friday anyway. Thursday, Friday. That's how it works for me. Okay. Now, you go ahead and get them set up. Okay. And then you send them the Zoom invite link. Remember, you're sending, and by the way, based off of the job that you're running, expect there to be lots and lots of people that you invite to these. Now, I go through all the interviews myself, and this is key because one of the things you got to do when you start going through your applicants, make sure that the people are local, okay? Because Indeed will basically open that up to a lot of people that are not even in your area. And then I will typically spend 30 seconds to a minute looking at a resume to determine, do I want to take them to a group, the first interview Zoom call, group interview. And if the person, as long as they've got some history or skill set for the job, I'll take them to the very first group interview. Okay. So send all your texts. And so what you're going to see here is you will quite literally, you log into Indeed, 50 applicants. You're going to put your eyes on all 50. Okay. And you're going to first quickly sort out all the ones that are not within 30-minute radius of your office. Okay. Because if they have to drive to the office every day, most people will not drive to work for a small business more than 30 minutes unless the pay and bennies are ridiculous. And you guys know that Business for Breakfast is designed for venti business owners. We mom and pop, okay? We don't got the cashola to pay great bennies and great pay, okay? So if they're more than 30 minutes, I'll kick them out, okay? And so I'll go ahead and sort them out. And then the ones I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and send them a text message. Send the text message. And now, if you use Google Messages or you have an iPhone and you have iMessage, you are able to access your text messages online. You can go to the browser, right? Or you go to the iMessage app. And so that's why I've got all of my text templates saved. So what I'll do is I'll go and I'll copy the message one. Hi, Joe. This is Aaron with Interstate Business Management. You recently applied for our Word 10-2 part-time accountant position. We saw your resume, really impressed with your resume, wanted to invite you to a first interview Zoom call. And something very similar to that. Copy, paste, obviously change the name. If you don't do it, you're like an idiot. So make sure you change the name. Send it out. Then, like I said, 3/4 of the people reply back. 1/3 of them won't. And that's okay because they got another job, whatever it is. Who cares? Maybe they didn't see the text message. Maybe they were offended they got a text message. I do not care. So, has no bearing on me. Okay? All right, out of the 50, I'm going to sort through, and I've got 30 of them I want to invite to a first Zoom call. Perfect. I send my text message to all 30, and that day, mind you, I started this on Tuesday, okay? And I'm setting it all up for Thursday and Friday. I get all these people set up. We get them scheduled, and Thursday morning, we get on the Zoom call, okay? Understand. This interview process is a 2-part interview process, okay? Now, why do I break my interview process into 2 parts? Number 1, understand what an interview is, okay? An interview is simply an organization interviewing an applicant to see if this applicant has the necessary skill set and personality for the role in which they're hiring for, right? But guess what? The applicant is also interviewing the organization. Does the company have the set of ethics or morals or culture I'm looking for, or whatever it is? Okay. This is why I put this in 2 interviews. The very first Zoom interview is a group interview where we are just talking about the job. Here's the good, bad, and ugly about what we do. Okay. Now, understand, this is very important that you have the business owner or somebody that's got some excitement or passion behind them. If the person that does this first interview is, I don't know, do you remember that guy from the Visine guy, Ben Stein, the dry eye guy? Like, it's like the most boring person alive. This is it. I hate saying this because I hate selling, but you're selling the business and the role while you're telling them about the good, bad, and the ugly about what it is. So you're excited about the business. You're excited about the position, but yet you're telling them honestly what to expect in the role. Okay. You have to do this. But the reason why you have to do this is because typically when you do this, I usually will have 2 to 3 team members on the call with me. As I'm the one that does all the talking. So trust me, Every single person that's been hired at IBM, I and my wife, Rebecca, have hired. Okay, we hire every single person that comes in the door. But here's the kicker. When I'm doing the interview, I'm talking just like I'm talking to you. So I'm thinking about what I'm saying, making sure I don't say something stupid because I do that a lot. I'm making sure that I'm staying on track and I'm watching time. And you think about a lot of things. What I'm not doing is studying and analyzing every person on the call. Now, here's the kicker. As soon as you start the Zoom call and you start allowing these individuals into the group interview, you will start seeing people's faces. Because people are not used to they think they're going to be on an interview where it's just them and the company. They're not expecting a bunch of people in the Zoom call, but catching them off guard is exactly what you want. You want to see them interact with the other people on the call. You want to see what they're doing when they're not talking. Are they taking notes? Are they drifting? Are they leaning back in their chair and slouching? Are they dozing off? What are they doing? That is key. That's why you've got to have other people on the call, because you need people taking notes on those people who showed up for the interview. Were they early? Were they late? These are all the things you're looking for. I have the team members that are on these calls will rate and rank the people on a scale of 1 to 5. Okay. And I'll do 1 to 5 or 1 to 10 based off of what I'm trying to get out of it. I always have team members that come in with me on the call. Why? A, it adds credibility to the applicant, but also B, it shows this person that you're entrusting them with other things in the company. You're showing this team member that they're NAV'd, N-A-V'd, needed, appreciated, and valued by saying, hey, I would really love your feedback on our Zoom interviews. I want you sitting there. I want you taking notes. I want you to rank the people on a scale of 1 to 5 based on the answers that they're giving and what you're hearing and their appearance and all that stuff. Okay. You're killing multiple birds with one stone when you do this. If you're taking a lot of the pressure off of you, you're assigning more responsibilities to team members, which makes them feel important, right? It makes the applicant feel that you've got other team members here. So this is an organization that's got some structure, which means this organization probably has a pretty healthy culture. This is all spoken without any words. This is why it's so important. Then what's the next thing we do? I speak for 30 minutes. Here's who the company is. Here's what we do. We're best coffee shop in our hometown. This is our core values, which is important to us. But here's the nature of the job. You've got to have dependable transportation. If you don't have it, you can't show up. Okay. Whatever your important traits are for this job. Okay. Here's the kicker. When you've got a bunch of people on this, you can be pretty tough in how you deliver the message. Look, you can say things like, hey, bottom line, you ain't got a car. You can't show up. Now, if you're talking to one person, that could be offensive. But if there's 8 people on this call, they're not going to think you're talking to them. They're just taking notes. Okay. But you're able to deliver that. You're also able to talk about things like the pay. Here's how we pay. Here's our benefits. You can say all of that in the very first interview. As soon as everybody gets on this Zoom interview, what do? The very first thing that I do is I make a joke. Okay, guys, I know you all thought you were applying for a part-time accountant position for an accounting firm. Nope. You all just accidentally joined a MLM meeting. I joke about it, okay? On purpose. I'm trying to let this person know it's going to be a little uncomfortable because you're in a big group interview. The interview process is really broken into 2 parts. The organization's interviewing the applicant, but also the applicant is interviewing the organization. Today is all about the company talking about what we do, how we do it, the good, bad, and the ugly of the role, while you're listening in the comfort of your own environment, taking notes. I don't want the person stressed trying to listen about the job, what we do and all that stuff, while sitting across the table from me, trying to figure out, do I have a hair out of my nose? Is one of my buttons mismatched? Whatever. I'm trying to eliminate that by putting this into 2 interviews. But really what you're doing is you're trying to take your message about what you do, what the company does, the good, bad, and the ugly of the role, and you're trying to say that in as few times as possible. Just think about the way that you interview and hire right now. Out of those 50 people, you might have, out of the 30, maybe 20 of them you liked, and then you invite 20 of them to an interview. Where maybe 15 will say, sure, sounds good, or maybe 7 to 10 of them show. You have to tell 7 to 10 people everything about the company. Here's what we do. Here's how we do it. Blah, blah, blah. It's a lot. Okay. And again, I'm lazy. So I got to build this for efficiency. Here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to tell you the good, bad, and the ugly about what we do here at IBM. Your job's to sit and take notes. At the end of this little interview, if you are still interested and I have not ran you off, and I say that, I'm joking with them, but I'm also telling them, I'm going to be a little tough here and tell you everything what we do here. If I still haven't ran you off and you're still interested, let us know. And then we're going to set up a one-on-one with you where you're the star of the show, where we're going to sit down with you. We're going to go through your resume. We're going to get all that done. Okay. And that way they now know. Now here's the best part. Remember what I told you? 2/3 of the applicants will show up and 1/3 of them won't. Guess what? Do you really care if the person didn't show up to a group interview? No, you don't. The ones that show and make it through the call are going, if they're interested, they're showing up for an interview. Did you see the hours that we just saved by this? Just by this, okay? Do the application process. We do the interview process, right? We do the Zoom 1 interview. At the very end, hey, what sounds good to you? Do you guys want to come in and hang out with us one-on-one and sit down? And they'll tell us, and we'll always have them raise their hand. And it just makes it nice and easy because I'm able to go and screenshot that and everybody writes down who attended and who wants to sit down face-to-face because, and I'll give you an example. Whenever we're running an ad for an accountant, okay, you will see, now I'm very thorough in my job placement ad. We are a 50-plus-year-old small business accounting firm. We hire accountants. You have to know how to do this job. I don't say something like that, but I'm very specific in the qualifications, the skills you've got to have to come and do this job, okay? But I still will have people that will apply that say, yeah, and they'll apply. Did it for the landscape business that I worked at. Oh, okay. What do you mean? I answered the phones. I went and got the Chick-fil-A order, and then the owner had me put transactions in QuickBooks. Okay. This ain't that. Okay. This ain't that. You've got to know how to do this job. You've got to know what you're doing, right? The good thing is in the very first Zoom interview, right, you're able to take notes on these people. And so at the very end, because again, my main role in the very first group 1 Zoom interview is to excitedly run these people off. Meaning my energy and passion is so strong that you're not getting off of this because I'm boring you. At the very end, my job is to tell you, here's the nature of the job. Here's the speed. Here's the type of account you're going to be working with. Here's the type of client our small business owners are. All these different things. And at the very end, okay, who wants to see us? Who wants to come in one-on-one? And I always joke, here's the time for the altar call. Then I'm like, but don't look at the person next to you to raise your hand, okay? I'm like, no, if you think the job sounds like something that fits within your skill set, sounds like that this might be something you'd be interested in. Again, today on our call, this is not the job for you to say, yes, I want the job. This is only your place to say, you know what? I've got the right skill set and I want to sit down with these guys for a second interview. where we talk about my resume. That is the only commitment you're getting on this call. But you already got rid of the people that were going to burn you anyway and ghost you on an in-person interview. You were able to take notes on those people, because here's the bottom line. If you're in a service-based industry or business and you've got somebody that you are looking at that is going to be forward-facing to your client, and you've got a very specific look, personality, or mindset, you want to find that out in that Zoom interview. And you'll see in the Zoom interview, if somebody doesn't have their camera on, we tell them, turn your camera on. Think of this as an interview. Please turn your camera on. We want to see them. I want to see if they're paying attention. I want to see what they look like, because the bottom line is, if you've got somebody that's got to basically be in front of your customer, you don't want them looking like Howard Stern, okay? That guy needs to be on radio, behind a microphone. But having that Zoom interview allows you to get all of this information in that one 30-minute interview session. All of this. This is years and years and years of me doing it wrong to figure out how to do it right. And that's what we're sharing today. This is an entire HR 101 class for you on how to hire quickly and efficiently the right people for your business and cut your hiring time by 1/10. Okay, that's the goal here, right? All right, so I think we understand the process, okay? The Zoom interview at the very end sounds good. I want to sit down with you guys. Great, okay? Then we get all those people. Now, just so you know how this works, remember we ran the ad from Sunday to Wednesday. I set alarms to remind myself to turn it on and alarms to turn it off, okay? I start going through the applicants on Tuesday. 2 days into that process, Tuesday, start going through the applications and start sending out my group text to the applicants on Tuesday, inviting to a Thursday, Friday interview 1 Zoom call. Now remember, you and I know that it's a group call. The applicant does not know it's a group call, and do not tell them it's a group call. Under no circumstance do you tell them it's a group call. Let them find out when they show up. You want to see how they interact with other people. Do they play well with the other kids in the sandbox, or do they only lighten up when somebody's talking directly to them? These are all the little intangibles that you find out in this one Zoom interview. So remember, we do those on Thursday and Friday, okay? And then typically we finish that up on a Friday, and then usually we'll let them know, we'll reach out to you guys on Monday to set up the one-on-one interviews, okay? Perfect, great. Reach out to them on Monday. What day works best for you? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, okay? Then those times, because these are people that have already showed up to the first interview, you've already put your eye on them, and you decided you wanted to take them to the second interview, okay? So be okay doing what you want to do, right? It's no big deal. But here's the kicker. Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, you're going to have, out of the 50 people that originally applied, you'll have 30 of them that you basically took to a Zoom interview. Out of that 30, you're going to have probably 20 of them that show up to the Zoom interview. And out of the 20 that show up, you'll probably have, and mind you, these 20 are divided amongst the 3 interview times. The 9 a.m., the 12 p.m., and the 4 p.m. 12 and 4. 9, 12, and 4. Okay? 20 will show out of that. And out of the 20, you'll take 50, you'll have 15 of them you want to sit down with one-on-one. Okay? Cool. Just get those knocked out the next week, right? Have their resume there, whatever your interview process looks like, do the interview process, and just let them know that you will call them on Friday and let them know yay or nay. Okay? Friday, you have to let the applicants know, everybody that showed up, the 15 people, hey, you'll hear from us on Friday, right? And let them know. Do your second interview, it's the face-to-face, you've walked through their whole resume, right? You'll know whether or not this is somebody that you want to hire. So you just let them know, hey, we'll let you know on Friday if it's a nay. And if it's a nay, trust me, you're great. It's only because it was somebody that had a little bit more experience being a butthole, okay? And so even when I'm telling somebody that the job's not for them, I still try to basically let them down easy. It's just the way I'm wired. I don't like people feeling bad because of something I did or said, okay? And people already dealing with enough crap, letting somebody know, oh, you didn't get the job because you're horrible or whatever. I don't want them feeling bad going into the weekend. Hey, you didn't get the gig, but here's the dealio. You're amazing. We had somebody that was just a little bit better than you. Not a big deal. If it's okay with you, we want to keep your resume on file. Okay, look, whether you do or not, who the heck cares? How about you just want to make that person feel good that you're basically saying you're not the right person? Thank you. So we go ahead, right? What I just shared with you is how we have hired every single position at our accounting firm, any of the companies that I've had years in the past. I've got quite a few of our business owners that I've taught this to that are doing it as well. This process absolutely, unequivocally will revolutionize your HR process and will allow you to sort through dozens and hundreds of applications in a tenth the amount of time that you did before. It's that good, okay? So I just wanted to make sure that we took today and give you guys our proprietary HR hiring process. But here's the thing. As a venti business owner, we know this, which we know is 1 to 20 employees. Venti means 20, does not mean large, it means 20, okay? Until the business gets somewhere between 25 and 50 employees, the business owner has to do all of the roles themselves or have a hand in it. What business owner has time to do this the original way? You all know because you're doing it right now. What's that old saying? When you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So when you're saying yes to spending 40 hours a week hiring, you're saying no to running your business. You know that. I'm not telling you something you don't know. You're all nodding your head. Oh my gosh, I checked this guy actually is in my business. I know. I hang out with you all day long. We're a venti business accounting firm. All of our clients are you because we're you. We know your pain points before you do, okay? So hopefully this process, more than anything, encourages you and helps you realize there is a better way. And trust me, if it's a service-based business, this process will work for 95% of the businesses out there. You just have to believe that it's going to work. Remember what I said before. If you think that it's going to work or you think that it won't work, you understand. If you don't think this is going to work, you're right. You're going to figure out a way to sabotage it where it will not work. And you're going to go back and say, see, it'll work for all these other businesses, just won't for ours. You really think that this process works for dozens of other businesses like yours, but for your specific business, it's not going to work? Or is it more likely that you don't believe it and therefore you're not going to try it? Well, you make the determination. But the bottom line is, if you want to streamline your HR process by a tenth, okay, at least a tenth, then try it. Try it for a month. See what happens. But like I always say, if you think that it's hard or you think that it's easy, you're right. Remember what time it is, guys? It's time to get to work.